What's going on, people? It's Mr. Dog back again. I hope everyone's fit and well. Forest have signed a goalkeeper. We have signed a goalkeeper at last. It's been a long time. We have signed Matt Turner from Arsenal, 10 million, I think it is. People in the comments, how are you feeling about the new signing? Are you happy with it? Are you just a little bit disappointed with it? Get your comments in now. If you are new to the channel, please hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and comment below, people, if there's anything that you want to talk about on the show. It's just been official. Steve Cook has left Nottingham Forest for QPR as well. So hopefully we might see him on his channel. Watch out for that, people, because he did say he will come on, but hopefully soon. Right, let's start. Let's get with the panel. First of all, the man himself, Glenn. How you doing, Glenn?
Very well. Good to see you both. Actually, first time I think I've been on for some time. So very much looking forward to chewing the fat of this pre-season, the in and out of today in the last few weeks, and looking forward to this very much.
I put Glenn on the naughty step with Des. That's why he's not been on the show.
Glenn's one of the better panelists you have on.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't say that.
He actually knows what he's talking about, whereas the rest of you fools, you just sit there going, "Oh goodness."
I
do admire you, Glenn. I think your commentaries are typically on.
Do I need to introduce the guy, the man himself, David, all the way from Australia? I do, David.
Excellent. It's 6 a.m. Dor, and I've woken up with you yet again in my lifetime. So, it's just one of life's great pleasures to wake up in the morning, turn on YouTube, and see that there's a live DoreOnTour podcast. And to be on the podcast myself is terrific. So just putting it out there, Dor gave me a hard time for not wearing merch last time.
I did not. He keeps saying that. He said I give him a hard time, people.
He said, "Where's your merch?" And I said, "I'm wearing my Australia jacket appropriately during the Ashes and obviously now during the Matildas, so why wouldn't I?" But Forest merch is coming out now.
David said I gave him a hard time on the last show. Now he's wearing, people in the comments, he's wearing the, right. People, what year did Forest wear this top? The pinnacle. People in the comments, what year did we wear this top? People, if you don't know, then where have you been? Right, first of all, we'll start the show. As you know, Nottingham Forest have signed Arsenal goalkeeper Matt Turner, US international as well. I'm going to get the thoughts of Glenn and David. So people in the comments, what do you think? Yes or no? Do you think it's a good signing? Do you think it's a panic signing? Get comments in now. Before I get Glenn, I'm going to start with this. Sebastian, how you doing? D Chapo, Outdoor, Glenn, Dave, Reds, 50-50 on Turner. Time will tell. Still want Hendo or Casper. I'm not back. I don't know about Casper, to be fair. But people in the comments, what do you think?
Would be terrific.
Casper.
Hasn't the Casper rumour just come out as just absolute rumour and no truth to that whatsoever?
I don't know. We never know. People in the comments, what do you think about Casper Smartball? Do you think you still come to Forest? Who do you prefer, him or Hendo? Lee Tilson said, "Good evening, guys. Enjoy watching from a nice bubble bath." Lee, that's a bit too much. Bit too much for us, Lee, but yeah, bit too much for me. Andrew, how you doing? Andrew, hope you're well. Kev, how you doing as well, my friend? How you doing, Eddie? Will Dino come to Forest? And like I said, that's a discussion that I will tell the panel as well. People get involved as well in the chat. Gamer says, "Hi, I hope you're well." I hope you are, Gamer. D Chapo, 2008. Was it 2008? David? Was it? People, it was 2008. Come on. Was it 2008? No, it was 2008. No, it wasn't.
I think it's a compliment if you're saying that I can still fit a shirt that I purchased in 2008. So, Chapo, firstly, thank you for saying that I'm as thin and gorgeous as I was back then.
Mark says, "Nice 495 season under Smiling Frank Clark." No, that wasn't it.
Well, the one in the background is.
Yeah, the one in the background is. The background is. Right, people in the comments, come on. What season was the top that David was wearing? Right, we'll start with you, David. Matt Turner, happy, yes or no?
Happy from a point of view that signing a prominent American or US player should open a little bit more profile for us in the US markets, but it's hardly a signing that looks like Kayla Navas or Dean Henderson, and it's hardly a signing where everyone knows who the player is and you're super pumped up and excited. It's not a Jesse Lingard level or a Taiwo Awanyi level or a Morgan Gibbs-White. And so I think it's just we need a goalkeeper. We need someone who can stand behind in the sticks between now and, when we hopefully sign Dean Henderson or someone else. So do I think it's going to be a game changer for us and we look back in 3 years' time and say, signing Matt Turner, that was the changing moment? Certainly not.
Glenn, what's your thoughts? Are you happy with the Matt Turner?
I am. That shirt's over 20 years old, though. 2002.
2002? What?
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, 2002. Matt Turner, delighted. I think lots of really good, sensible points there, David. He's not the marquee signing that perhaps some were hoping for in terms of in goal. He's the best fit for right now. He's keeping Ethan Horvath, let's not forget, the USA number 2 out of the US national team. So he is a level up from that. He's well renowned in terms of not only a national team, in terms of what he's achieved. Remember when we played the USA in the World Cup in December, he held us to a 0-0 draw and was, obviously a very, very well thought of in terms of him back in the MLS. Arsenal paid 7 million for him. We've paid 7 million plus 3 add-on performance. So they've not made a lot from him. They've got rid of a player that is arguably on the periphery of their thinking now anyway. He played a little bit in Europe last year and a few cup games. So what he would have offered Arsenal going forward, obviously with their Champions League, is potentially half a dozen games a season with Carabao Cup type competitions, right? So as a 29-year-old keeper, a father of nearly 2, his son is a year old, his daughter's about to be born in the next month or so. He's looking for a club that he can take that next level from, and Forest seems to be the ideal one. I've listened to a lot of what he said today, and I've been really impressed. Obviously, the first questions that all players coming in will be, what are your thoughts? And they all say, delighted to be here, really just want to get started. And from then on, that was the standard answer that all players give, right? From then on, it was very much about the atmosphere and what made him remember the City ground from last season. The club, the history, obviously, they all talk about. The number of players coming in this season.
Glenn, your internet keeps breaking up. It keeps breaking up.
Maybe I'll move into a different room. I'm on holiday at the moment.
He's on holiday, people. Give him some sympathy.
This is not my kitchen.
Give him some sympathy as well. Yeah, you keep breaking up, Glenn. That's all.
All right, maybe I'll move nearer the router.
We can hear you, but every time you talk, you keep crackling.
Okay, maybe I'll move near the router. I'll think about taking these off.
Why do that? Let me go through the chat. This is Jessica, and she's and as an American fan, I want to hand it in soon, but I'm excited about more Americans to take the interest due to the signing. He's a good goalkeeper, but his character is what takes him more with shine. I hope you're well, Jessica. Jessica, whereabouts in America do you live? Please put in the comments as well, people. Where you in this chat? Where you watching this chat? I'd love to know as well. And as you know, David, he's from Australia as well. So people in the chat, where are you watching this?
That Jessica point, Dore, is quite a good one and maybe worth digging in on. But the the benefits we get from the international team, like if we sign Kasper Schmeichel, for example, then that immediately brings a set of fans because that player is just so popular. And so is Matt Turner going to be good enough to, if you sign another American player, then that might be enough to suddenly, Nottingham Forest get a whole bunch of additional views just from, trying to get Colin Coward and these kind of American sportscasters kind of talking about us because we have American players. Dor, can I ask you, do you think the signing of Matt Turner makes us, and if he gets to play, turns Nottingham Forest into a land of opportunity for players that, couldn't quite make it at Arsenal and couldn't quite make it at Liverpool and Manchester United, but they come to us and then they make the first team? Is that a position we want to have?
I think the most important thing, Dave, to that answer, and it's a good question, we need a keeper. That's the main thing. And yes, he didn't play Premier League games because I know they had Ramsdale as well. He played in Europa Cup games as well. But we needed an experienced goalkeeper that he did win. Did he win something with America, USA, if I do remember? People come and tell me.
CONCACAF.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jessica will tell us the answer in a second. If
Jessica, what did he win? Did he? Yeah, I think Glenn just mentioned it. He did win something.
Yeah.
So you can take that with his experience playing football.
32 caps I was reading for the US.
32 caps. So it could be.
You got to be good.
Listen, we didn't expect the main thing. We needed an experienced goalkeeper, because I will talk about pre-season to both David and Glenn, because we got to, like I said, with the goalkeeper department, we can give a shout out to Shelby. That played fantastic against Frankfurt as well. Even Havertz against Rennes, let 5 goals. Another American goalkeeper didn't play well, but with the Turner situation, like, he's been around fantastic goalkeeper players as well, around Ramsdale. Me personally, I think he's a good signing. I would prefer Henderson, but we've got a goalkeeper that knows the Premier League. He knows the Premier League. He knows what to do with pressure as well. So, me personally, I think he's a good signing. But
he was the goalkeeper for the team that finished second as the backup, so he can't be. Yeah. So he can't be completely hopeless. But he's not Keylor Navas.
No, I think a lot of those that calling out for Henderson, is that better, by the way?
Yeah, perfect, Glenn. Perfect.
Those calling out for Henderson, obviously, let's not forget, those of us that were there at the Leicester game when he injured his quad.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
He's had surgery since then. He is not fit. He will not pass a medical if he was to come to Forest right now. He is not in a position to start. Yes, perhaps we would prefer Henderson long term. And who knows, later in the season, arguably when this run of horrific starting games, right, have gone through, we may well be in a position towards the end of the transfer window, maybe even at Christmas, to offer Henderson a deal that we and United would both be happy with. Now, the sticking point, obviously, at the moment is the injury and also the length of the loan that then comes prior to any restriction or any what's the term they used, where we need to then pay the money to then buy the player as a player on our books, not just a loan player. The situation at the moment is Matt is ready to go. He's played a lot of the tournament they've played in the States. They played really well, although Chelsea won it. They played really well. He played against Everton and played well. And is arguably going to make a Premier League start at the Emirates.
Good
a club that he's played for, whom probably hasn't played for as a starting in the Premier League. So he would be an ideal fit for us right now. Yeah, I've got no complaints at all about that situation. When you look at what we've got as an alternative in Henderson, it would be a lovely position to be in to have them both. But Hennessy's not the player. Horvath's not ready to play in that position. And it would be amazing, wouldn't it? And I totally agree when you're saying about Shelby. Shelby would be fantastic to play at Arsenal, but we want to be in a position where we're not shipping 5 goals again.
Exactly.
And we don't want to be for this first game of the season and arguably the next 6 or 7, he is the ideal candidate to be in that goal.
100%. People have done a poll and said yes. There's 84% said yes, 16% says no. People in the comments, what was you? Was you yes or no? Get in the comments now.
Glenn's just talked me into the Matt Turner signing being absolutely brilliant.
You've got to be positive.
I'm now to know, because we're the land of opportunity, and he will play the first 8 matches, and we might strike lucky and actually get a Henderson level goalkeeper for £7 million, which compared to the 20 we would have played for Henderson, who's injured, I think it's actually quite good. And this is what this podcast does to me, Dor. I'm just pumped up now. I'm like, bring on the next game. Come on.
I just want to go through the comments. And a big shout out to Curtis Shaw. You'll see him on Friday for the previous show. Big up to Curtis. Make sure everyone goes subscribe to Curtis. Curtis says, Turner is a good signing, 10 million. Very good stopper. Not great with ball in his feet, but will do well for Forest. Experience and was keen to be a number 1. Yeah, 100%. Kev, I think Kevin Campbell said that yesterday. He wanted to be a number 1, and he's got to prove it as well, playing a full season with Nottingham Forest. So
he's got the number 1 shirt as well. Have you seen that? He's training today. He's got the number 1 on.
100%. But yeah, like I said, shout out to Curtis as well. Curtis will be on my show on Friday, people, 9 o'clock. Make sure everyone goes subscribe to my guy, Curtis Shaw. He's doing fantastic. And hopefully, Curtis, make sure you bring the tissues, because I know you'll be upset from last time we beat you. at the Seat Club. But shout out Curtis though. Shout out Curtis. As well, Lee Tilser. Thing is, the USA lot are on the sports involved hands and catching baseballs, American football, blah blah blah. So it's good with the hands. Look at Brad Friedel, Tim Howard, and Casper. Whoa, bloody hell! Lee Tilser's got a brain for at last. But yeah, I think like
and their national team. And their national team tour is used to getting absolutely flogged by all the other teams, so therefore they get a lot of work.
As well, yes, yeah. Nick says, sign or trade does not stop the move Henson. It doesn't. It doesn't. Because, as Glenn just said, we having a miracle, we could get him injured. So we've got to take our time on this one. Because, as you know, he got injured. He has been training, but he has not played a game. So we've got to be very, very careful on getting Henson. But we've got Matt Turner. We've got to be confident around him because, like I said, he's experienced. He knows what it's like in the Premier League. And I think, me personally, it's a good sign as well. I'm just going through as well. Burnley. But yeah, I'm just pretty disappointed with that. I wanted him at Forest, to be fair. But good luck to him at Burnley. Nick said, we spoke about Steve Cook, departing from QPR tonight. Confirmed. I think, end of the show, we'll talk about Cook. But for me, he was part of that team that got as far as promoted. So for me, he's a legend. So I don't care what anyone says in my eyes. He's part of that team that got as far as promoted. D Chapel says, just Ward Dennis Furrier Canute, McKenna leave to go. The Super Sam scored from Nashville debut. That again, that's something that we'll talk about throughout the show about the players that who's good enough for Forest and that. Mohammed, hit the like button, please do hit the like button if you can, people. There's 72 people in. Please do hit the like button if you can. Last thing about the Turner. Was he your first choice, Dave? Who was your first choice, Hendo or Turner?
Well, definitely Hendo.
Yep.
Hendo was part of the Premier League survival squad, so he's like an iconic player. However, the thought that I've just gotten is, hopefully the Turner signing does prevent the Henderson signing because Turner comes into the sticks and plays so well and actually makes it to the point where we don't need to sign Henderson. So hopefully maybe we won't need Dean Henderson.
Glenn, do you think he's a panic buy? Yes or no?
Wow. I think based on the form of those that have been playing in goal, and they've obviously rotated through, haven't they? Of those that have played in goal in pre-season, it has been an issue with a number of goals that we've had conceded against us, that we've needed a player that we can put in there and arguably trust to go straight in a position that, in the absence of a Henderson. So panic buy, necessity, yes. I don't think it's a panic buy that we've thrown money at anybody in particular. I think those that have made the decision to buy him have made a really shrewd decision. They've made a really competent decision based on the whole person. I happen to think that the player they've chosen, we've talked about them at length tonight, yes, distribution-wise at the feet isn't great. It's obvious that he's only started playing when he was 14. He throws the ball a lot more than he kicks it. I've seen that. He does a lot of rolling out overarm throws, so he'll distribute to wing backs and gaps behind wingers and arguably Morgan Gibbs-White and any advanced players by throwing the ball. But I think he's a really sensible decision. I think it's a really good timing of that, particularly with the Arsenal connection. And yeah, a little bit maybe, but I think it's an ideal time. And remember, the window is quite wide, isn't it, in terms of the transfer window? And we've chosen to select a player, 4 days before the season starts. But who knows, there'll be more coming out and in between now and the first game, second game. So you could argue that it's a bit of a panic buy, but I think it's a shrewd buy at an ideal time that gives him time to then play. I know he's training with the squad this morning. Train with the squad and continue to get ready for Saturday lunchtime.
So people, what do you think? Like I said, on the sound of Matt Turner, like I said, are you happy with it? Disappointing? People, what do you think in the comment? Right, pre-season. It's been what can I say? It's been people, are you bothered about the pre-season? Yes or no? I will tell David and Glenn about it. Are you bothered about it? Yes or no? I mentioned it on the show, but I'm going to ask you, David, like, pre-season, are you really bothered about it? With 2 wins, was it Leeds and who else? With Levante, I think. Are you bothered about it, David?
I'm as worried about as I would be excited if we were smashing teams 5-0. And so if we were winning every single game and Gibbs White and these guys were just scoring goals at will, then I'd be talking up how we're going to finish 8th. And so because, look, obviously it's friendlies and they're setting up. I think Cooper is setting up the structure of the low block football with the defensive team to just try and get as many points as they can out of the first 6 matches. And so you just you can't take it too seriously, but it's not nothing.
Glenn, are you bothered about pre-season?
I'm bothered that we've had a decent one in terms of the number of fixtures we've played. We've had players coming in a position where they've not been thrown at the wall in terms of the earlier fixtures from last season. That was a situation where Cooper going in by Christmas only just found out the team that would then work for the rest of the season. We've had a pre-season that has worked for us as best as we could possibly imagine in terms of players coming back from international breaks, fixtures and results. We've played games. We've given opportunities for players. We've given opportunities for players that have then gone out as a bit of a showcase to see where they may go and the fact they've left through the door. I saw a thing today that 18 have gone and 4 have come in.
Yeah.
So it's obviously been, not all of them have featured, I can imagine that, but it's been a situation where we've had a bit of a shop window for those players that have moved on, an opportunity for those that have come in to start playing. And we've then got in a position where we're ready to start a little bit stronger, a little bit more savvy. Yes, because we've had a season last year, but we're in a position where we can get ready on Saturday with a team that have been playing together as well as, as much more than they were at this stage of last season, which is only a benefit going forward, isn't it?
David, have you been impressed with anyone pre-season or anyone disappointing so far?
I don't think anyone's come out and hit the lights out in the pre-season at all. Ironically, I thought Shelby in goals is probably the one who's advanced his case, for a place in the squad. But yeah, it's not like anyone.
He played well against Frankfurt, really did.
Yeah, I thought the Frankfurt starting lineup or the team that was on the field for the majority of the time is probably the closest to the first team I think that we've seen. Yeah. But still, you just look at it, left back, we seem to be a little bit shaky and not sure what we're doing. Is Jono going to be the striker without Awonyi there? Like you compare it, like would this team beat last season's team on day one? I'm not sure that it would.
What do you think, Glenn? Any players that stood out in pre-season? I know it's a daft question, but I know I didn't really take pre-season as if we lose or win.
I haven't minded Huang. I thought Huang's been pretty good. I quite enjoyed seeing him play.
Yeah, what do you think, Glenn?
I'm still pondering on the whether we would beat last season's starting 11 at this point. I kind of hope we are. I hope we would, in terms of we compete against them, having gone through a season. And I know we're going to talk about a little bit later about players that might feature a little bit more and might want to change the way they play a little bit more this season later on. But I'm going to focus on a player that I've really been excited by in terms of Elanga. I've been really interested to see how he would fit in. Delighted that he's a younger player than I thought. He's 21, so in terms of the squad that we have, he doesn't feature in that, does he? So even though we've had 18 gone out, I think I counted 7 were in the Premier League starting, or the squad of 25, 30, and 4 have come in. So yeah, that was a really exciting start because he played at. Did he play against Leeds, Elanga, when he started?
He come on second half.
Second half against Leeds.
Second half. Yeah. And
with the exception of the 2 errors in defence, it was a really good game. So I'm really interested to see how Elanga would play. I don't know how many. I didn't watch the whole of the review of the year and the video you put out last night, but how many of them actually said that he would feature as their player of the season? There was 1 or 2. But no, he's certainly come out as a really quick, really threatening player going forward. I can't wait to see him feature a lot more this season. Hopefully he'll play on Saturday.
Morgan Gibbs-White was the choice, wasn't it, Dor, for the player of the season?
Vast majority.
People, that's something later on we'll talk about. I know Glenn and David was on my who will get the bottom 3, play the season, and where do you think Forest will finish. So later on, they might have changed their mind. At 24 hours, they might have changed it. You never know about these two. So people, I will in the chat as well, get involved when I do mention it. People, please do hit the like button if you can. What's going on? I'm on like 7 likes. Please get up the likes up, people. Get the likes.
No one likes you, Dor.
No one likes me. What's going on? Why does no one like me? No one like me at all. We're going to talk about. There's so many players that there's a lot to talk about. Like I said, David mentioned Morgan Gibbs-White, Brennan Johnson, Danilo as well. These players we've got to talk about. I'm going to first you, David. Danilo, we signed Danilo in January. At start, he didn't play great. We took him out of the team, we brought him back in, and he did well in that role that we were struggling most of the season. What do you think Danilo needs to from there to there next season if he wants to? I'm not saying it's like I can talk about Brennan Johnson. Like Brennan Johnson, everyone's been looking at Brennan Johnson, but now everyone's going to look at Danilo now because he's a Brazilian. He works hard. Do you think he needs to step up next season?
I think he will step up. I don't think he needs to step up. He seems to be, coming out of the end of last season, he was one of the couple of players. I would position as which players are in form. And, which ones are really firing and who is, who can you not leave out of the squad? And Danilo and Morgan Gibbs-White are basically the two answers to that question. So Danilo's kind of, getting forward play when we don't have, when we're playing the, more defensive style structures means that he's going to be absolutely critical. And I think he will be playing almost every single game or as many as they can possibly get him out for. So, for us to have a successful season, we're going to need 6 or 7 goals from Danilo.
Glenn, everyone is talking about more Gibbs-White. He finished the season on a high. He's got to step up again.
Hopefully, he's been practicing his free kicks and his
and his corners, Glenn, it's his time to shine, isn't it? Because
for sure. Sorry, go on. Answer the question.
No. I was just saying because when we got promoted, everyone. And I don't care what anyone says. We was relying on Brennan Johnson to score the goals. For the first part of the season, he was scoring the goals because if you remember, Tara Wadney got injured. Then like I said, we brought Danilo. Tara Wadney then scored at the end of the season. It's going to be less pressure on Brennan. But who do you think then do you think Tara Wadney can be the man to get 20 goals? People in the comments as well. Do you think Taiwane can get 20 goals? Because we keep saying, Forest needs to get a goal scorer. Chris Wood's this and that. This is Taiwane's chance to get goals if he doesn't get injured.
Yeah, he twisted an ankle, didn't he, against Leeds? Has he not featured that much since then?
No.
It was just
you know what? I was at the Leeds game. You know what? It's funny. I was at the Leeds game. When he got injured, you know what I said to everyone? I hope he doesn't play no more preseason games. That's what I said. And he didn't. But yeah, so sorry, Dave. Glenn, carry on, Glenn.
Yeah, I have a feeling I can see him playing on Saturday. I can see them starting him. 20 goals a season, that's what everybody wants, isn't it, in the Premier League? Everyone wants a 20-goal a season striker.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be amazing if he continued the run of form towards the end of last season? I actually made some notes earlier on. The way I see him being the player that we hope he'll be and score the more goals that he'll got him up towards the 20 was being a lot more open in the way he plays. That goal against Palace, where he turned and stayed onside, Morgan clipped that ball forward and then turned 2 or 3 centre-backs and the keeper by playing the ball left and right before he shot. That's the sort of goal I can see him starting to play. He was scoring a lot for Union Berlin, running in behind defenders and slotting balls in, very similar to the goal that Jed Spence scored in the Cup, where it's just that clip into the corner. He's starting to be that more of a striker where he's actually making decisions and making defenders really have to think about what they do. And the more he does that, the more he's going to add that next level onto already what was, injury permitting, a really good season, wasn't it? Had he stayed fit the whole all the way through the season, who knows how many he would have scored. So staying fit and adding extra levels onto his already glowing repertoire of abilities, I think that would be the way that we would develop and nurture him, but keeping him fit, obviously, That is the most critical thing right now. Touching back, actually, what you're saying about Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs-White, for me, you're absolutely right about free kicks and corners. He needs to add more in terms of assists. He's gone on record recently talking about the number of goals he wants to score. I want to see him scoring more goals than he scores in penalties. That's where he's scoring goals for us at the moment, isn't it? Really, you can guarantee he's going to score 6 or 7 goals in terms of penalties we're going to get this season. I really want to see him getting forward a lot more, getting assists in a lot more, offering more going forward, and obviously scoring himself too. So yeah, both of them scoring more for us.
There's a question, and I think Glenn might enjoy this. I'm going to ask David first, because everyone has seen David Johnson. What is David Johnson for? Brennan Johnson has been linked with Spurs, and there's a shout out to Gordon. Right, lads, what do you think of John's link to Spurs and get Spencer or Rondo? We know how much Glenn loves Spence, because as I don't know if no one knows, Glenn used to teach Spence.
Wow.
So if no one knows, he teaches him. But I'm going to ask you, David.
Well, that's remarkable that Jed Spence is such a lovely human being, and Glenn used to teach him. Jeez, if he came through that academy, then no wonder we think that he's so good.
Yeah, I'll tell you off.
She's set that one up for me. Thanks for the assist there, Dor. That was terrific. Slotted it in nicely.
So what do you think, David? But wait, before you ask a question, I've got a super chat from Whitbread. Thank you for the £5. I do appreciate that. Just asking no harm underscore say who is the most points for us to the EFPL to you. What's that? What was that? EFP? I don't know. Go on, Glenn. Keep your glasses on. EFPL. Football English Premier League. Just go to
No
the
idea.
most points.
What's the most points we think we can get, Dor? I believe.
I think that. Thank you for £5. But I think that's what we'll ask later on the show. So thank you for very much, Whitney.
I would say 120.
Thank you for £5. If you can you message me on Twitter? I do appreciate people. If you want to do a super chat as well, people, please do. It helps my channel a lot. But thank you for the £5.
Oh, Fantasy Premier League.
Oh, Fantasy Premier League. I don't know. It might be Brennan.
Because we aren't Fantasy Premier League players, then, are we? I
don't know. It might be Brennan.
I think it's Morgan Gibbs-White, isn't it?
It might be Morgan Gibbs-White. People in the comments, who's the Mrs. I think it's got to be Morgan Gibbs-White. Morgan Gibbs-White, Brennan? Right.
Got to be.
Yeah, but thank you for £5 though. Again, thank you for the £5. Much love for that. That will go straight to Glenn's internet because it's
FAPL. How did we not get that was fantasy?
My Airbnb. Thank you, mate.
How did we not know that?
I don't know.
How do we not know that? Clearly, we don't play.
Right. Here, quick question. Right, Brennan Johnson. Do you if you had a choice of bringing Spence back and sending Johnson in, what would you do? Yes or no?
Well, the answer is no, because the whole point of getting Jed Spence back is so he can play with Brennan Johnson. so you negate the positives, and also the only position we seem to have strength is at right back, at right wing back. We seem to have that seems to be all of our players, and so we're bringing in another one. So I'm not sure, and the nuances of the finances with the trade deal, with how much actually counts and all those sort of things, that would have to be beneficial. But for mine, the only reason we covered this on your show last time I was on was the only reason to sell Brennan Johnson is for the financial fair play, and it has to be so beneficial for us. And if we sell Brennan Johnson back to if we sell Brennan Johnson, we would not beat the first team from last season from match day one. We need Brennan Johnson.
Yeah, me personally, before I get Glenn, I want to keep Brennan.
I think we have to keep Brennan.
We've got to keep Brennan because we can all is, and is it embarrassing that people want him? No, because he's one of the best players at Forest, and that's a fact. So, me personally, keep Brennan because it gives us something that other players can't. So that's my opinion. Glenn, I know you love Spence. What do you think? Like, if we did sell him, if we sold Brennan to Spurs, would you want Spence? And people in the comment as well. Would you want Spence?
Jed Spence was a student in my PE classes for 3 or 4 years. I have watched his progress through Fulham Academy, through Middlesbrough, down to us, and then obviously Tottenham and when he's been playing in France. The only way that I would have Jed Spence back is to keep, and David's hit the nail on the head with this, to keep the band together on the right-hand side.
Yeah.
He would need Worrell or another player there to make up any issue that he may have in coming back. He would need a player going forward, whether it's Johnson or any other player on that right-hand side. I don't think selling Brennan, and almost Tottenham have gone, you like this player, didn't you? Do you want him back? There's a little sweetener here. Have this little player back, and we'll take your best player off you and give you less left over. So in terms of financial fair play, what we would then inherit is a fantastically young, gifted right wing back, a few quid, less than we would probably want back for Brennan in the long run. We're saying about 40 million, right? That's not how much we would get back from him with a deal involving Jed Spence. So if we're going to have Jed Spence, yes, we would have him for less than the 15 million that they bought him from Middlesbrough. But I think we would need more back from a deal involving Brennan Johnson than a swap deal or a part deal
Not
or
enough.
a part payment, part player. It's not enough for me. So the fact that they've thrown Jed Spence as an option is a little bit of pulling at the heartstrings of Forest players, Forest fans in terms of reuniting that player back in the team that he was the most successful involved in his whole career. But the financial issues of developing a player through an academy like Brennan Johnson and passing him on to another team, and let's face it, he will go eventually. He will go somewhere else eventually. And what we can get from him in the long run will be significantly more than we've invested in him, which was fantastic. So if we're selling him because of FFP and only FFP, I would want more as a lump sum for Brennan than a part Brennan, part payment, part Jed Spence. And that's not taking my love, admiration and respect for Jed Spence out of it. It's his birthday today, by the way.
Happy birthday, Jed Spence.
Out of the link. And I think we would need the full amount, not a part cash, part player from Tottenham.
My opinion on Jed Spence, he might upset Glenn, he might upset people who are Jed Spence fans, but he did fantastic well for us in the Championship. But I'm sticking with my guns on this one, and I think we've got Nico Williams, we've got Sergio Aurier, we've got Arana as well. I think we stick with them. But if we do get Spence, I don't know. People chat. Yes
Does he
or
have
no?
to play right wing back, Dor? Can Spence play in the midfield? Because we saw him do that a little bit.
He did it.
Maybe that's.
If we did play right wing back, I think that means we have to bring Sergio Aurier into our back three. That's what I think we can. We have to do that because I remember last season he did play the three, didn't he? The back three with Felipe and Joe Worrell. If I do remember. But
he wasn't. I didn't think. From memory, he wasn't terrible when he played there.
He wasn't terrible. I
thought he was all right.
He definitely played one game at City Ground in that back three. But I don't know what game it was. But he did all right. So you never know. But I don't know. I think we need to move forward. Jed Spence, like I said, he did fantastic for us in that promotion.
He's a cult hero, Jed Spence.
He's a cult hero.
Amongst Nottingham Forest fans.
People, if you can do a massive favour, please do hit the like button if you can. If you're on Facebook as well, if you can go to my YouTube channel, please do hit the like button. And if you are new, subscribe to my DoreOnTour channel if you can, please. As well, like I said, thank you very much. Anyway, thank you for the £5. Make sure if you do message me on Twitter, and obviously I want to say thank you for the £5 as well. Next topic, people, and again I mentioned this on the channel last night with Kev, Des, and Dave. Steve Cooper. There's going to be more pressure on him this season because now he's had his season experience in the Premier League. He's had his lows, he's had his highs. He's learnt a lot. I'll ask you, David, and people in the chat as well, get involved with this. How much pressure is Steve Cooper in now, in your opinion?
Enormous pressure. So if you looking at the way that he mentioned and the way that he's talked about signing players and speaking out, we need to bring more players in, just kind of made me think, he may not be on the same page as, what he's getting given here. And, he's under enormous pressure because the first 6 fixtures are so difficult. There's every scenario that we could be bottom after the first 6 matches. And so, I made in my prediction video, I have grave fears for Cooper that I feel, and I don't want this to happen by any means, and I hope that we finish first. I just have a feeling he might be on the way out after, and one of the first managers sacked is what I'm really thinking.
Do you think
I'm so worried. I'm so worried. I just can't see us getting that many points out of these first 6 games. And if we're bottom after 10, 12 games, then where's he? Where's it's not like we've improved. We've gone backwards. And so the pressure on him is absolutely enormous. Having said that, I'm convinced that we're going to beat Arsenal this weekend 4-0. And Brennan Johnson's going to score a hat-trick, and he's going to run over the sideline. He's going to kiss the badge, and everything's going to be fine. However, that is currently my...
We only dream. If no one knows, we've been to Arsenal. Is it Emirates twice? And we've lost twice 5-0. So time will tell. We need to change.
Opening day of the season, we can anything can happen.
Right, let me ask something. Right, I'll read the comments as well. Last time we played Arsenal, first game of the season, Glenn and Dave don't say nothing.
Well, I know. I know the answer to this, door.
Yeah, I know
that I know who scored.
I know you know. What was the score, people? When we played Arsenal, the first game of the season, what was the score? If you know, the first one, I will put it out. Glenn, Steve Cooper, like I said, he's done a fantastic job, but he's on more pressure now from last season. What's your thoughts on him going start season?
Thoughts. How long have we got? My thoughts on him. My thoughts on the pressure he's under. You're absolutely right, David. Absolutely immense. He's going to be in a position, though, to know a lot more about his squad, to know a lot more about how the Premier League works. We're going to be in a position, potentially, you're right, after the first 5 or 6 games, although that Sheffield United game is critical, isn't it? We're going to be in a position after the first 5 or 6 games where we may well be in the bottom 3 or 4, and it'll start making the management team, particularly the owner, very, very nervous. I don't think they are going to take into consideration the start that we're going to have into any judgment that they make. They're going to see where we are at certain points along the season, and they're going to go, "You're not high enough. We're pushing for Europe." That's all that that's their hope, isn't it? That's where they see us with the investments that they've made. Now, I think the pressure needs to be managed in terms of what we, the fans, can do, and I think we need to make sure that if certain fans, and I'm not going to go into certain detail because obviously Dora and I have talked at length about this, certain fans will go Cooper out as soon as the game finishes on Saturday by 2:45. Whatever the result is, if we've lost, it's going to be Cooper out. We just need to be patient. We need to see this run of 6 or 7 games that we've talked about, particularly the 4 really tough away games, and then see how we get on. I think how can I say this? David, yours was the only comment, wasn't it, from yesterday's clip that we put through, the 30-second clips, that had anything to talk about Cooper. I thought it was really significant that you were saying he's going to be out by Christmas. This will be happening.
I don't want him to be out. I love Steve Cooper. I'm so worried, Glenn. It keeps me up at night just thinking, oh goodness.
They have a habit, don't they, of losing patience very, very quickly, regardless of what's happened. So it might be the situation where the fan
What's
power.
The number of managers in 20 years? It's like 20 or some outrageous number.
I had it at the tip of my tongue once upon a time. Significant number, 24, 25, isn't it?
However, having said that, we will know after the first 6 matches if we're on 10 points or 8 points or a mid-table after those matches. Then come on, let's go. Then I think the pressure is lifted. So as much as the pressure is on him, it's also a chance for him to remove the pressure, because that team from the last 6 matches last season was electric. But it was, we talked about Taiwo. Taiwo is so critical to the team's fortunes. Like when Taiwo was out, we weren't any good. When Taiwo came back, we suddenly looked like world beaters.
Yeah.
And so I just hope Taiwo just comes from the clouds and is injury free and plays on Saturday. And no one saw that coming and they weren't ready for him and he tears them up again. But Brennan Johnson gets hat-trick.
Who knows? Looking at the flip side of the coin, right? Who knows? We get a result on Saturday. The start isn't as bad as we hoped or feared. The teams that we are all unanimously decided the 2 or 3, although I've changed my mind about Wolves now. I did it a couple of days ago and didn't involve the Wolves decision. There are teams that are in a worse position than us, that are having managers coming in at the last minute, that have got teams falling apart around the seams, organising coaches to come in to organise fixtures for Saturday, Friday night and Saturday. What is it now? Wednesday? You've got 48 hours to organise a first Premier League game. And the team that you had training yesterday, 2 or 3 players are leaving them. What a mess that is, right? We're not in the worst position.
No,
and
we're fortunate.
Let's not forget, that all the 20 managers are under exactly the same pressure.
Yes.
Whether they put it on themselves or not, or it's put on from the board, they're all under that pressure. And there are 3 worse teams than us right now.
100%.
Well, it's a weaker Premier League this season than it was last season. So I think from that perspective, we're actually fortunate. Well, obviously, there's one fewer former Premier League champions in the, and, you know, Leeds are a strong team and look, Southampton were hopeless. But, you know, maybe that's going to work to our advantage.
People in the comments, what do you think like Steve Cooper? Do you think, like I said, I want him to do well because if you look at it, when's the last time we had a manager in the 3rd season? Well, 2.5 seasons, you could say. 3.
It's his 3rd season. Yeah, it's third.
It's his 3rd season. You could say Billy Davis. Was he with us 3 seasons? I think was it 3 seasons he was with us? I can't remember. Yeah, he was.
I can't remember how long he was there for.
The first year, the first time he was with us, he was there halfway, and then he got his playoffs back to back. So that I think if you that, and for what Steve Cooper's done. He's done his magic. He got us the Premier League. He got us up, and then we know the Premier League's brutal, and that's what I say. It's going to be more pressure on him, and then anything. So I don't want to be what I get called as a happy clapper, and all that. But listen, we believe in Steve Cooper, and we all Forest fans want him to do well. People might say. His tactics are negative, but listen, he wants to win games. He doesn't go on a pitch just thinking, we're going to lose games. So listen, people in the comments, what do you think? Are you behind Steve Cooper? Yes or no? Right.
Or the upside of Steve Cooper coming through these 6-8 games and being successful in terms of that 3rd season. If you're going to be a long-term Premier League club, then you need the same manager for years and years and years. So we absolutely categorically need Steve Cooper to be successful in these 6 to 8 matches. And if we can do that and we come out of it with 10 points, you beauty.
You beauty. Right, so people, I did a video yesterday that David and Glenn took part. I also said in the chat, make sure you get involved as well. So for the first thing I'm going to say, the bottom three teams that you feel will go down. It can, if you want to include Forest, you can, people, but I hope you don't. So, David, I know, like I said, you did a video. Has anything changed?
Nothing's changed. I think the promoted teams are just clearly not a class level close to the Premier League teams. So I think all of those 3. Look, I saw the Wolves stuff, but Wolves are just such a bigger club. I just think they'll find a way to work it out, won't they?
Will they?
What food team? Come on, Dave. What teams do you feel will go down? Come on.
Well, I had Luton, Sheffield United.
You say Burnley, right?
Yeah, and
Burnley. You think Burnley will go down?
He said the 3 that came.
Yeah, I said the 3 promoted teams. So yeah, I just looking at it, I said the 3 promoted teams. I just think the 3. I just think they bounce back down. But look, that rarely happens, if not ever.
But they've just bought Sander Burge from Sheffield United, and he's a top player. And I've just seen on social media that they're buying Aston Villa player. Is it Ramsey?
Yeah.
Is it Aaron Ramsey? What about people I've seen in the comments? They're getting Ramsey. So they are doing well, to be fair.
All right, so if Burnley stay up, then who's the one that goes in their place? Are we saying that it's Wolves? I don't think it's Everton.
No, I said. I thought I said.
I said Everton.
You said
It's
Everton.
never Everton, haven't we? It's never Everton.
People, come on, do you think Everton will go down? Do you disagree with Glenn? I don't think they will.
I have changed my mind since Monday lunchtime when I did.
Have you changed it, Glenn? Have you changed it?
Yeah.
People in the comments,
And
what
not
do you think?
because the vast. Sorry, I'm interrupting. Apologies.
No,
Not because the vast majority have said Wolves, and that was the obvious decision that I could have made Tuesday morning. It was a gut reaction that I had based on the way that they were playing towards the end of the season. Dyche will get them through the season, and I don't know who they would necessarily. You got to keep. It's all based around keeping their striker fit, and if the striker's not fit, they're going to struggle. Everton, for me, Wolves, and arguably, I think Wolves. I think Wolves now.
I'd love to see Manchester City get relegated on financial fair play. That would just make my day.
As well,
It's not impossible.
And as well, and we've got like everyone's gave Luton a brutal hiding, and everyone thought, but they brought in a good player in Ross Barkley as well.
Barkley's a good player
as well. So the signing today, and I thought that's just a bit of it's a good signing for me.
And the difficulty of playing at Luton's home park might just get them enough.
People in the comments, do you think Luton will go down? Yes or no? Yes, I think they'll go down. I just do. I personally think they've brought in players. If they go down, they've got a set up to be in the Premier League, in the Championship for next season. So I think they'll go down, but I hope they don't. But there's still a long time to go in the Championship as well. People in the comments, right? Where do you think Forest will finish? Let me see if Glenn and David has changed their minds. People, get involved. David, have you changed your mind from earlier on?
I'm not changing my mind. I have us finishing 17th on goal difference, and Dore getting more grey hairs than he's got right now.
That's what you said. I laughed so hard at that.
Right, people.
Hilarious.
I have not. Look. I have not got no grey hairs. I've got no grey hairs.
On the bookmakers, actually, Forest a third favourite to go down with Luton and Sheffield United.
Really?
Yep.
Wow, bookmaker. You know what happened last season with the bookmakers?
What book are you looking at there?
I'm looking at one of the odds checker sites that summarises all of them.
Right.
But Wolves are also in there. It depends. You can get some. Yeah, you can get some. It's Wolves and Forest, isn't it? Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not
that we endorse betting or we're sponsored by any of the betting sites.
Listen, don't do betting, people. Don't do betting. It's for mugs. It's for mugs, like my mum says.
Especially betting on your own team. That's just heartbreaking.
Listen, I never bet. I have never
even more annoyed.
I have never bet on Forest. I swear, I've
neither.
never bet on Forest. Never. Never will do.
Now, if you had the choice, you could finish 14th or you could finish 17th, but guaranteed that you will finish 17th. Do you take the excitement of a final day draw to survive just for the excitement of it, or would you rather if you have the choice, do you just say, well, because I don't think you want to be Crystal Palace, do you? It's boring.
No, listen to me. No, listen. When we beat Arsenal, I was like a daisy, just jumping around like a school kid going to school.
Exactly.
I was like,
it's a great moment. So how could you not want that again?
No. No, it's not happening. Because like I said, my chest will hurt. I don't want no. That's a stupid question.
Do you cry when Forest? I cry when Forest win, Dore? In that I had tears. I was
when we stayed up, yes, I cried.
Yeah, it's just so emotional.
Because who wants to be in the Championship? Listen, people know how I feel about Stoke City. I don't want to go Stoke City away. No. I don't want to go there. No. I don't want to go to that team from down the road. I know they're in League One, but I don't want to go down back to Pride Park.
You're not allowed to talk about them, Dore.
I know. I know.
Over this. I don't focus on beating Arsenal, and they're our rivals, not those other guys.
Yeah. Last but not least, what have I missed? player, people in the comments as well, who do you think will be the player of our season? I can start myself. I think everyone said Morgan Gibbs-White, but I said Danilo. I think Danilo is going to be the man that can be that star. Do you agree with me, people? Yes or no? What do people in the chat think? Do you think Danilo will be the star of the man? Yes or no, or whatever. David, have you changed your mind?
No, I'm sticking with Danilo, but the Morgan Gibbs-White choice is a safe one because he's going to get the most game time and is the most guaranteed, player who will be the ever-present. In fact, I was thinking, should Morgan Gibbs-White will he be the captain by the end of the season? Maybe.
Wow.
I don't know. What about you, Glenn?
No, I'm sticking with Morgan. I think Danilo's going to have a massive season for us. Hopefully he stays for us all the way through the season. He's going to have a massive season for us. Morgan is hopefully going to push on from the success of the summer. I said the incredible season that he's had with us and more so, arguably, the end of season, the off season against, for England. He was, with the exception of the sending off, which was unfortunate, he was the player of the tournament in that competition. For me, he was absolutely phenomenal. Made, if anything, this strengthens his call up if he continues to make that to the full team. And yeah, he's going to have a phenomenal season if, like I said earlier, he gets involved a lot more going forward, gets involved on the score sheet a lot more other than pens, and I can see him being a real threat to oppositions this season. I certainly wouldn't want to play a team that has him in it. And that's what we need all the way through the squad, isn't it? I think actually going back to I didn't answer the question about where we'd finish. I've always talked about the Premier League Division 3 that we find ourselves in. As long as we're at the top of that, 14th or 15th, I'd be happy. And taking your point, David, about guaranteeing, knowing, going in first whistle of the game on Saturday, knowing we'd finish 17th, regardless of what goes on the roller coaster of the season, I still don't think I'd take it. I don't think my anxiety levels would take it.
You think there's just enough upside?
David, why would you bring that up?
I wouldn't. I've got a lot of time for you, David. I don't know if I trust you that I could take that we would definitely, regardless of what happens through the season, how many injuries we get, the changes we have in management or whatever. I couldn't say yes.
You wouldn't just take it now if it was an offer as a trade.
I wouldn't take a guaranteed dead cert 17th place. No.
I couldn't.
Well, maybe I'm more pessimistic. But I was almost going to go on the video and say we're going to finish first and why won't we win and we'll be on 15 points after from this weekend. I think there is some financial, in terms of, just exposure benefit from being one of the surviving, relegation battling teams because it is interesting. And if we have the US keeper in the sticks, then the US market is going to be more interested in Nottingham Forest than if we're Crystal Palace in 12th. So there are some benefits from that, but we obviously want to kick on and we don't want to finish 17th. So we obviously talked about Morgan Gibbs-White and Danilo. Who's a smoky for player of the year that you just wouldn't see coming? I'm thinking, who could win that you just didn't think it could happen?
Oh, people in the comments all get involved, man. That's good. That is a really good one.
Who could? Well, you just did not see that coming. It's like, I think it'll be like who would surprise you the most that is plausible?
Mangala,
maybe.
Matt Turner.
Matt Turner.
Yeah.
If Matt Turner comes and hits it out of the park in the first 6 matches and we choose not to sign
Matt Turner. Matt Turner. I think Matt Turner.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But if it's Matt Turner, that means he's done a lot of stuff, which is not what we want.
I'll take Matt Turner.
Clean sheets, shut
Chris
out,
Wood.
what do they call it?
Chris Wood.
Is that what you're going for?
I'm going. You know what? Yes. I don't care.
Phenomenal.
Clip it. Clip this. Chris Wood is going to be our player of the season, people. I don't care, and I hope he does.
Chris Wood has spent the entire summer just hanging out with Morgan Gibbs-White practicing corners.
I hope he does.
I hope he does. This dynamic corner duo.
I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not saying he's a starter because he's not a starter. He's a person that can come on for the last 10 or 15 minutes. And 20 minutes and come on to do something.
I think he's a good squad player for us, Chris Wood.
How did he hit
the crossbar the other day, though?
Oh, don't mention that. Dave, why are you mentioning these kind of things on the channel? Come on. Right. It's been a great. People people, it's been a great show. It's been a good show. I do appreciate. I don't know if you know. People know David is all the way in Australia. What time is it, David? What time
Now
is it?
7:03.
7 a.m.
7 a.m. I've forfeited going to the gym this morning just to hang out with you, Dor. So,
What?
you know,
Listen, I'm going to bed.
I was going to go to the gym this morning.
People show some love today. He's all the way in Australia, so people show some love to him. And
Any Australian fans, we're meeting at there's a 9:30 meetup in the city in Pitt Street. Get on the Facebook. Yeah, there's Jamie and the Nottingham Forest Sydney supporters crew are getting together. Join the Facebook page.
People, stay clear from David. He's absolutely nutcase. Stay clear from him.
Brendan Johnson hat-trick.
Clip it, people. Clip it as well. Right, it's been a great good show. David and Glenn, thank you. I do appreciate it as well. Tomorrow, I'm going to do one last show tomorrow before I have Curtis on Thursday. If any Forest fan wants to come on my show tomorrow and just talk about the club, please do. I will start that at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So one more show before all content happens as well. Please message me on Twitter, Instagram, or email me. Get on. Anyone can come on. I'll do like another hour show as well. So please do.
Dor, you need to answer what year jersey.
Huh? Oh yeah. Wait, people. Right, in the comments, before we do go, what year? One person got it right. One person got it right. What year did Forest wear that top? Glenn, what year was it, Glenn?
I believe it's 2002-03. Is that right?
Is that right, David?
Well, I'm following you guys. I thought it actually was earlier now that I was thinking about it, and it is earlier because...
What year was it? Before we go, what year was it?
Pinnacle were the sponsors when we were the last year of the Premier League, or the...
It was. I know what year it was. I just don't want to say it because it was under... Yes, people in the comments. Come on, first one, before we do leave, make sure you do hit the like button if you can, people. Please do hit the like button. Subscribe. Make sure everyone subscribe to the channel as well. Nick, you're wrong.
Nick's got an answer.
Nick, no. Wrong.
Nope. No, it's not that one.
It's definitely not that one.
Come on, people.
It's fifth run. It's fifth run. People, come on. Correct. I think Gordon, but what year was it, Gordon? What year was it? You can't just put it correct playoff finals if you know. What year was it? What year was it? You can't. Do you Chapo? No, not right. Nope. No, not right. Come on, people. You can't. Where's all the Forest fans that year? This is disgraceful. Gamer, no. Even no. Was it 01? No. Gordon, yeah, 2003.
Yeah, that's right.
That 2003 under Paul Hart. If people do remember, with the best partnership that year, we had David Johnson, Molon Hayward. Glenn, what's face?
Yeah,
Glenn?
so this is the shirt that I wore.
Isn't that what I just said? The 2002 over Christmas to 2003. 2002, 2003.
That's why. Yeah, was it? Yeah.
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah. No, can't remember, Glenn.
Yeah, so I wore this shirt. It's
20 years old this year.
Yeah, listen, Glenn got it right. Glenn got it right. I just didn't want to give him the credit.
Oh, mate.
I wore this shirt. I wore this shirt when I saw Forest play. I think it was Ipswich, and David Johnson broke his leg, and so it's.
Was it Ipswich?
Was it? No, was it Ipswich or?
No,
he played. I just trying. I'll go look that up, but I definitely maybe it was West Brom.
Was it West Brom? I don't know if David, if you want.
Tell us which match David Johnson broke his leg at that I was at.
Jono, if you're watching, Jono, tell us. Jono, if you're watching, put it in the comments, Jono.
I'm sorry that I was there to see that, but you were my favourite player then.
Don't give Jono a big head because he does watch his channel. Don't give him a big head. Yeah, don't watch him. Right, it's been a pleasure, Glenn, David.
Thank you, man.
Thank you for taking the time as well. Small people,
come on,
9 o'clock. If you want to come on my show, if you want to come on my show tomorrow, people, message me on Twitter, email me, or whatever. Get on the show. I'm trying to get as many Forest fans as I can. 9 o'clock I'll start. I'll do it our show again. I'm excited. Premier League football. Emirates again.
We've talked ourselves into Forest winning. Let's go.
another stressful year of Premier League football, but I'm excited. Peace and love, people. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, like as well. Let's go. Peace and love.